All right, let's talk about the 5 strategies you need to get a job. And it doesn't matter if you're a learning professional or not, but obviously I'm going to give you some details on that perspective as well.
Core praxis.
The first thing obviously is the resume. So what is a resume and how you need to deal with it? I'm going to give you some tips from the business perspective and what I've seen is successful in my experience, and also doing the research, because I don't do anything without research. I just don't go on opinions. What am I? Crazy person? All right, so here's the deal. A resume is a flyer, all right? A resume is going to be promoting you to the eyeballs, meaning the humans that are going to be looking at your resume, and that's going to be the employer, right? Now, you can always have a generic resume, a general resume, but the strategy that works is to tailor your resume to the job post. So what that means is the following. You're going to look at a job post. That job post is going to have a few things, a few details for you. It's going to have duties, first of all, listed, right? So sometimes, even today, now they're getting a little more, the people that write the stuff in HR, they're getting a little more friendly or conversational. So they'll say like, in this journey, what you'll do, right? Things you'll do. So you just want to analyze that. What is the day-to-day? That's the day-to-day. That's just going to tell you what the job is. So once you get the job, that's pretty much what you'll be doing. But there's always a little line that says, other duties as assigned. And that means just whatever it is. The point is, that's what you'll do, but that's not what you need to focus on too much. What we need to focus on is what follows that, and that usually will be qualifications. The qualifications or job requirements is exactly what you have to focus on and should be your first section in your resume. Of course, I'm not going to tell you everything on how to write a resume. You should have your name, your email, your phone, and your link to your portfolio. Yeah, to your website. You should have a website today, really. I mean, and if, let's say you're not a learning professional or you're not a creative designer or website designer, whatever the case. Okay, so maybe you don't need a portfolio, you don't need a website, but at the very least, then you should have your LinkedIn link on that. And more on that at the end of the video here. But for now, to start, resume. And the resume needs to match qualifications. Now, when you read the qualifications in your post, make sure that you're applying to something that you qualify for. A lot of people out there apply and they're not qualified at all. So what does that mean? Well, in the case of an instructional designer, popular lines are going to be, must be able to use or proficient in Articulate Storyline, Adobe Captivate, Camtasia Video, Adobe Premiere Pro. Of course, those are generic things that are going to be there. So when you put your qualifications at the top, that's a section that's pretty much saying, hey, I'm your guy. I'm your person. Here is the deal. So other qualifications that may be very common. Minimum 5 years of experience creating ILT, VILT, creating instructional manuals, creating video, creating this and that. So in your qualifications, you should have that. That's exactly, so you need to read that, compare it, match it. Now, of course, you don't want to lie. If you've never done any of that, then don't apply for the job. You're not qualified. But if you've done some of it, then go ahead and do so. And then also, if you have 9 qualifications in there and there's 1 you don't do or 2, still apply. You still qualified. You just qualified on 7 on the 9 things. So please do. All right. Following that qualification section, skills, just list separated either by commas or pipes, characters, each of the technical skills you have. So that should be, again, if it's instructional designer, Articulate Storyline, Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, whatever the case, whatever else follows in that. You should at least have 5 or 6 things that are related to the job. Okay, after that, your work history. So that should have the name of the company, the title that you had, right? And in some respects, sometimes the hours and stuff like that. I'll do other videos on that. But that should be primarily what you list there. And you want to go by month and year. Don't get too specific. So month and year that you started, month and year that you ended. Then from there, a few, maybe about 3 to 5 bullets that are having the specific format. What you did remember those duties we talked about? So that the duties, so what relates to what you have done, you have to sort of mash it and align it. If you didn't specifically do what's on the duties, then list something you have done that is related to that and watch the words that they're asking for. So, or they're describing. So in this job, you're going to create instructor-led manuals, and you're going to create virtual instructor-led flyers or manuals or job aids. So you should put something like that. Created 300 job aids for 300 people, whatever the case. And then the impact, the business impact, right? Reducing time, saving money. Those are the two things that you do no matter what job it is. Those are still great things to that. And so if there are any other metrics, list those. So that's what you got. Qualifications, right? Your contact info, qualifications, technical skills, and job experience. So that is one thing. And we'll go to the next strategy. All right, let's talk about interviews. The interview is the most important part of all. The interview is what gets you the job. So the resume doesn't get you the job. The interview gets you the job. The resume gets you the interview. The interview gets you the job. Get it? All right. So what should you do in an interview? Interviews can be a little bit challenging. You definitely have to work in your communication skills. That is one thing you have to work on. You have to practice. So if you're not used to that, practice. How do you practice? Well, here I am. I'm recording on a webcam. Do the same. Record yourself on a webcam. One tip that I can give you is use PowerPoint Rehearse Coach. PowerPoint has a feature called the Rehearse Coach. And that means that it would actually use AI to analyze your speech, and it will give you feedback on how you're doing. So if you're doing a bunch of ums or a bunch of, other things, that your pace or how you're talking, it will give you all of that. If you don't have any issues communicating, then prepare for your interview. So the strategy is you get notified about the interview. Awesome. Now you need to look up this company, read the about page of the company, and see what they're about, what they care about, what it's the culture. So kind of get a feeling for that. Depending on what role you're applying, obviously your research on the company is going to be varied. It's going to have a couple of things. But the strategy that I recommend is read about the company, know what the business is in relation to your role and how your role sort of impacts that business. And then read about the business news. So look at every company usually on their website has a news section. Check them out on LinkedIn as well. So what is going on with the company? What is the new thing that's happening? Maybe that gives you an inkling as to what your job role, why they're hiring, right? So that will be a specific thing. You're going to get asked questions. So in instructional design, if you're an instructional designer, do not focus on so much on you. That's a lot of mistakes that a lot of people make. It's all worrying about you. Oh, what are the benefits? This is not the time to do that. So the benefits are documented in some kind of document or PDF that someone's going to give you. The interview process, what's going to happen is the first person, most likely, where you're going to talk to is going to be a screener, which is a recruiter. So a recruiter will make the selection and give it to the manager. The manager will say, okay, call that person. The recruiter will come and talk to you. And the recruiter usually does not know anything about instructional design, most likely. So they're just going to ask you questions based on the job post. Remember the job post, remember the resume, all that, right? So make sure you keep that copy of the resume you submitted. Make sure you have that resume open or reviewed it before you talked, I recommend that you do that. If it's a video interview, here's what's going to happen. Well, it's going to be one of the Zoom sessions. It's going to be a Zoom session or something like that. And then you're going to look at the camera when you respond, but look at them when they're talking. So those are a couple of little details there when it comes to the interview. Obviously, dress professionally at the very least. A casual shirt with a collar. If you want to take it to the suit situation, do that, but also understand your company, the company you're applying to. If it's a startup, there's not going to be a need for you to be like a tie and, a suit. But again, just keep that in mind. Usually if you're applying for supervisor positions, you may have to go there, wear a suit and a shirt and do that. And everybody knows that downstairs is like business upstairs and party downstairs, because you're not going to show your bottom. So you're wearing shorts, huh? All right. So that's the strategy there. Resume open, review it before you go, research the company, know about the company, the business and all that. They're going to ask you those questions, right? What do you know about us? What do you know about our company? And then you can tell some of that. So the recruiter may do that a bit. If not, they're probably going to ask you some things. The big one is going to be about negotiations and salary. So let's go to the strategy next. Okay, so let's say you went through the interview. They, at any point in the process of your job hunt, that conversation is going to come around. And actually, many employers now, recruiters are just immediately asking point blank, right? What are your expectations for this job? Here's the thing. You don't know anything. You don't know anything about what the job should be in terms of like what kind of money you're going to ask for. Your skills may be surpassing that job. Your skills may be matching that job. So pay comes in different flavors, and pay is going to come in a salary, and that can be based on HR compensation metrics and whatnot. So a person in California makes a lot more money than a person in Orlando, Florida. And a person in New York also makes more money than anybody else in Florida, pretty much. And, so that's the situation, right? So do not give a number ever for any reason. Do not. Yeah. So what does that mean? Well, you're not going to be like, well, I don't give anybody numbers. So what are your salary expectations for this? Here's what you say. And I say, well, it's hard to know. Let's say you're talking to a recruiter. It's really hard to know because we just started talking. So what is your range for this position? That's it. They have a range. They have a budget. So for them, employers actually do this. It's kind of stupid. But the reason why they do it is because you may be coming in at the top level of that range, and now you're taking yourself out of the equation. So it's really dumb because it's messing you up. If you say the wrong number, then it's going to take you out. And so if you come way below that number, then okay, maybe it's a thing. But that also may lead to, oh, well, this person doesn't even know what a instruction designer gets paid. I mean, it's dumb. So just avoid it. Do not give the number. And that can be also be for the next strategy that we'll talk about, salary negotiation. All right, so you got through the whole thing. Here comes the offer, right? They're giving you an offer. Hey, we really like what you this and that. We'd like to offer you $80,000, whatever the case. So if it is what you went for, no issues. Awesome. No, that's not right. At any given point, this varies within the concept. But again, remember that I'm talking about corporate jobs, instructional design corporate jobs in private sector. I'm not talking about government, state, and all that. So do not always just accept that offer. That can be tricky. I'm not telling you to say no. Again, you never say no. It's a negotiation. You are negotiating. So you're going to do a negotiation. And how do you negotiate? Well, all you're going to do is basically you're going to get that offer and they're going to tell you, okay, look, here are the benefits, compensation, blah, blah, blah. So that could be, $80,000, an 8% bonus. Depending on which company you work, that can be better or worse, whatever the case. In this economy today, things are a little bit interesting and change quite a bit. So if the money you got is good, great, but do you want more? Okay, you might be leaving $10,000 on the table. You may be leaving that. So to negotiate, what you do is you will be very grateful about the offer, and this can happen on the phone and this can happen written. So we'll talk about those two things. But if it happens on the phone, hey, this and this and that, before I send you the letter, just want to make sure you're at $80,000. What do you think, right? And so you can say, first of all, you can give yourself, if you don't feel comfortable right now at that point, just say, hey, I need a couple, can I get back with you in an hour? Can I get back with you in a couple of hours? I like to think about it, look at different things, look at the whole compensation package. So let's say the worst case scenario, right? No, we need an answer like right now. Nobody's going to say that, but let's say that's the situation. If that's the situation, then what you will say is, I really love it. I love the idea. This is a great company. I really love everything that was there. I would love to be able, and I would love to accept it if we can move it to X number, right? So the number, you put the number, but you want to be careful there. You don't want to, $10,000 is probably the most you want to go on this. It all depends on the context, obviously, but that would be a nice thing. I mean, you're talking, it's almost, another $400 a month or something. So again, more than that, but that's what I meant. Don't quote me on math. $1,000 a month. You're leaving $800 a month or something. Anyway, but that's basically what you do. Now, on a regular basis, what you'll do is that, but in written format. So that's how you respond. So, this is amazing. Thank you so much for the offer. I'm really grateful for it. Right? You're amazing. I love it. And I'm willing to accept, based on everything we discussed, it's the right chemistry, And I'm willing to join the team on the date set at $10,000 more, whatever. So, they say $80,000 at $90,000. That's it. Right? Now, here's what's going to happen. Two things can happen out of that. They're going to say no, right? The offer stands, right? And then you say, okay, great. And then you take it. You didn't lose anything. But if you don't negotiate, then you lose money. All right, next strategy is salary negotiation for contracts. This is a different game. So if it's a contract job that you're going after, you're going to talk about money right up front. If they're saying contract, okay, you talk about money right up front. And why? Well, because you don't want to waste time. It's a contract. So that means that the employer is either going through an intermediary, So it's going through someone, an agency, or they are contracting themselves. And there's already a budget and a rate for that. So there's no point in you going through any hustle of, preparing. If it's you haven't, sometimes people contact you on LinkedIn. This happens to me all the time. Hey, you got great skills. I have a job. So just talk about it. Oh, awesome. Great. What's the range for it? What's the salary range on it? Oh, between, so this is what's happening. The people in the middle, they are taking money from the employer, if that's the case, right? So they may be charging $100 an hour and they're offering you 50 or they're offering you 45. So if that's the case, then, make sure you price yourself right. That's where you can price yourself completely at whatever you think it is that you actually do. So in my case, I'll be at the minimum $50, 50 or 55 an hour, 75 an hour. Because you got to remember, 75 an hour is not 75 an hour on 1099 or W-2. It's 75 minus taxes and all that, federal and all that. So yeah. All right. So the last one. Last strategy. When the resume fails, when your interview stuff. Well, the interview is it. The interview is what you're getting. But how do you get more leads? How do you get more people interested? So this is the last strategy and my deepest secret. That is content marketing. Content marketing comes in two ways. Yourself, right? You're promoting your skills. So that's going to be through social media and your portfolio. So you're going to have a portfolio or website if you're an instructional designer. I already mentioned that. So, you need a portfolio or website so you can actually do that. And it's very easy to set up a portfolio today to make a website. I mean, go to Square, go to, these are already engines that have the Wix. They already have the stuff. You just plug and play, click here, click there, add some images and all of that. So make sure that you're looking at good websites and what they look like. If you don't have any design skills, use a template and just grab some nice high resolution images and do that. Now, when you make a website, make sure that it's just to grab people's attention real quick and get them exactly to what you can do. It should be 30 to 60 seconds on that homepage. Should be no, when I was 2, I love looking at flowers and la 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 la. Okay, that's, no one's gonna read that. Nobody's got time for that. And there's a big chance that people are not even gonna look at your portfolio in many cases. Now, some jobs do ask for it. Content marketing means you're creating bits and pieces, small 30-second clips of video or creative stuff or images, carousels on LinkedIn, and you're posting that on a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever your time allows, so people can actually see, oh, this person knows how to design stuff. And those persons, some of those people may be employers. And that's it. There's your 5 strategies. Hope you like them. Hope you love them. And this helps you. Share the videos. I do want to thank my subscribers. We got like over 53 subscribers right now. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I just started this a couple of months ago, 2 months ago, I guess. So I love you all. You guys are awesome. I hope I'm trying to put you up here. Thank you for being a subscriber. It really helps. Thank you for sharing the videos. I've seen the analytics. And well, if you haven't yet, go ahead, do your thing and watch this other video. That's a cool one.